Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you can hear me. Sorry, I hope you can hear me. I usually use a headset to hear my voice, but I'm just charging it. I'm just charging it up right now, just for a couple of minutes, just to give it some battery life. Uh, so yeah, hopefully you can hear me. My name is Sam, and this channel is about filmmaking. So anyone out there who's interested in filmmaking, whatever it is, whatever part of filmmaking, um, anything to do with the filmmaking process, then that's what this channel is for. That's what it's about. Okay. So let's talk, and I'd like to hear what you do, or what you'd like, what I'd like to hear what your why you like filmmaking. Hello. Hello, Matt. I'm just charging my headset up at the moment, just for a couple of minutes, just to give it a bit more battery life, you know. Welcome. Hello. I feel a bit strange today, but nonetheless, I'm pushing forward, and I'm, I still want to speak about what I love, you know. Um, Let me see now how it is. I will turn my headset on in a couple of minutes. I'm just charging it right now. I'm just giving it a little bit of a charge. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Just reminding you all what this channel is about. This channel is about filmmaking. Anything to do with the process that makes a film. So if there's anyone out there who's interested in filmmaking, uh, let me know what you do. Let me know what your story is. Tell me your story, and we'll talk. Because I'd like to meet some filmmakers on this channel. It's not only to share my journey into filmmaking, but it's to create some connections. So I don't know who you are. I don't know who's watching me right now. Um, that's why I come on here, you know, and just to see who's there, you know, just to see. Yeah, I can make videos and things like that, and I have made some videos, but I like to go on live streaming to see people live, you know, because you never know who you're going to bump into, you know, who you're going to meet. I find it quicker. When I say quicker is not always the best option, but it's about meeting the right people. So that's why I'm here anyway. Well, I'm going to turn my headset on now. Now my voice will sound so much better, okay? Wait for it, give it a couple of seconds. How's that? Is that better? I hope that's better, yeah. What it should be.
it should be. Yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, anyone who is interested in filmmaking, whatever that is for you, whatever you specialize in, whatever you're interested in doing, editing, anything that goes into making a film, camera work, like a cameraman who understands different cameras and lenses. Is there anyone out here who likes film, as in not digital, but physical film? Because it's so much more organic. Film is so much more, because it's loads of different stills going at a fast speed. So they're all like individual photographs. Like so really good filmmaking is not just about the story that you're trying to tell. It's about the relationship to the camera and the subject in front of the camera. So it's about seeing it as like, because what you're filming is not a still photograph, but you're capturing. So I'm talking about physical film, right? So it's thousands of still photographs moving. You understand, that are being taken. So really, like, camera work, people that operate cameras, the cinematographers, cameramen. They're also great photographers. They understand photography. It is cinematography. It's cinema photography, and they understand that they're not just filming something. They're taking a photo. They're taking a snapshot of. They're trying to capture the moment as a snapshot. Like, I hope you all understand what I'm trying to say here. Digital is different. Digital came as that comes as when I say evolved, I wouldn't see it as an evolution of film, physical film. It's different. It's a different technology. It's computer based. It's more like a computer. Anything digital is your computer based. It's different. It's a different way in which a picture is taken. True cinematography or photography, even for people that just take photographs of butterflies or nature or anything, they really understand the organicness in taking a photo of someone on film. Because film, you got to be really delicate with it. You can't mistreat it. It's got to be loaded into the camera under certain conditions. You can't do it out in the open where it's bright. You have to do it in a dark room or in the back of a dark van or truck or something. It's got to be in black. It's got to be in darkness. You got to keep it, because if the film gets exposed to light before it's gone through the camera, you're just going to ruin the film. Basically, there's all this natural organicness that conveys itself, that basically comes with using physical film, and you need to know that as the operator of the camera to take the most natural, real. When I say realistic, but the more you understand the nature of film, the more you'll understand the more you'll be able to capture the nature of what you're capturing, the more you'll connect to the naturalness, so it looks real, it looks natural. So as an audience member, as a viewer, you're watching something on film from a great filmmaker, and and so it all feels, it feels real. That's what I'm trying to say. Shooting things on digital, I'm not, and people can shoot on digital and do a great job of it. You know, I'm not denying that, but it's just different. Even though it's got its benefits, digital, it's different from physical film, because I've got a lot of experience with that. What in recent times where I've gone to see a movie on film. British Defence League says natural exposure is the word. I do photos for a hobby. Yeah, so that's right, and you don't have to have natural exposure with using a digital camera, because most of these digital cameras, well, one, it's there's no physical film in the camera. It's digital. It's just being sent straight onto solid state. You know, like a memory card. You know, like a flash memory or whatever they call it. You know, um, it's just the way in which the art or the medium is done is different. I'm not against digital. I've got a digital camera, but it's just not. I wouldn't want to make a film off a digital camera. I'd have something. Ideally, well, not ideally. This I want to shoot on film, physical film. Yeah, it's more expensive. Yeah, I know all this stuff, but it just looks better. It just looks so much better. I know you can manually adjust the digital camera to make it look like it's film, physical film, and you can alter it. And yeah, yeah, I know, but like what you've just said there, yeah, but it's not the same, because the human eye can tell the difference. Like someone like maybe the average person might not be able to notice it, but a lot of people will notice it. I mean, even in regards to shooting something with CGI as opposed to using practical effects that look really real, the human eye can tell the difference. Like we're not stupid. Like people are not stupid. They can tell. You unconsciously can tell. You can tell. So don't get me wrong. If I have to ever use a digital camera to film something like a short film or documentary or something, or some sort of short thing, then yeah, I'll use a digital camera. But I know that the ultimate method is using physical film. You can then upload that. You can then get it converted to digital. You can get a digital copy made. You know, so film is film's just different. Film is you have to have a story though to tell something on film. Like you need to have something. I mean, back in the day before digital cameras came around, film was all there was. So it was more cheaper. It was more accessible. When I say accessible, it was more cheaper to use. Now it's really expensive, but it doesn't matter. Like, well, when I say really expensive, but it's cheaper to buy a memory card with a, a 500 gigabyte memory card. Sorry, it's cheaper to buy a camera with a 1 terabyte memory card or a few 500 gigabyte cards, you know, and go out with a spare battery and go out and shoot something. But it's not the same, because the whole manner and approach to using the camera, the whole way in which the operator is using it, you know, the whole way in which it's just different. It's a different relationship. It's just anyone can press a button and record something on a digital camera. You know, that doesn't really make you a film. That doesn't really make you. I want to say it doesn't make you a filmmaker, but it doesn't. The camera's thinking for you because it's digital. It's like it's got an intelligence into it. Whereas, so it does it all for you. And most of these cameras have got an automatic setting on there to do everything for you. Um, and there's nothing against that, but I'm just saying that. But that's I'm just saying that's what it is. Yeah, you can manually set your exposure. You can set all your things manually, but it's still like doing it for you, if that makes sense. Whereas with with an actual film camera, which has 35 millimeter film in it, or 16 millimeter, or any film really. But let's just say for the ones that people use the most is 16mm or 35mm. Um, you've got to manually feed that into the camera. You've got to manually set all the exposure. You've got to do all this stuff for you. Do you know what I mean? You've got to. You're more conscious of what you're doing. You're in a position where you're more conscious of what the camera, of what you want the camera to do. Whereas digital cameras, it's more conscious of you. It's taken all the donkey work out of the equation, and all you have to do is literally just press a few buttons and then hit record. And it's just not, to me, it's not cinematography. It's not true photography. Like a photographer would set the light, I mean, you still got to do all this stuff anyway, with even with digital cameras. I'm not against digital. I've got a digital camera right here. I mean, I'll get it out and show you. Actually, I have I've only used it for photography at the moment, at this time. Let me just put my light on here. Hold on. Hope you all can see me. So I've got a Canon uh, R50 camera, and it's a beautiful camera. It's digital, a couple of years old, but it's 4K. It's an amazing camera. I've not even scratched the surface of this yet because I've been relying on a lot of the automatic settings. I've not really gone in there yet and used all the manual ones to set on my own exposure, to set all the what's the word, ISO. I've not set all the other stuff manually yet. I mean, I've seen how to do it, but I've just not yet done it myself. But it's a great camera. It really is. I mean, if I put the viewfinder up to the back camera, let me see if you can see any of my images. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Yeah, you can. You can start to see it. That's just me wearing a waistcoat. I've got a lot of black and white pictures on it though as well. I can show you. Um, uh, I mean, I can just show you off here, off the side screen. That's me wearing a waistcoat thing that I've just bought. Oh, let me come back out. Yeah. So, what else have I got on here? Got some photos of the dog. Oh, I've got some good pictures on there. I really have. I mean, there's a picture here of the dog. I can zoom right in. Yeah. So it's a great camera. It does. It's the Canon R50. R for Robert. Canon. I've actually got a filter lens on here. I've got this Nano D series lens, or basically there's like an anti-glare lens that's on top of here. Look, if I take it off, that's the original lens. That's what originally was with the camera. This is like a, see that light hitting. It's like what do you call these? It's a like a filter lens, like to stop glare. I can't remember what that's even called, but a UV lens. Yeah, it says it right there. Yeah. Woo! That's it. Yeah, the Canon R50. This brown skin, I put that on there. It's like a rubber skin. It's a great camera. So I have got one. I've got my own camera, and so yeah. But so digital is an interesting technology, right? But I've seen films on film, like at the IMAX. I've seen things played on. I just saw Inception 2 days ago. Was it no? When was it? Was it yesterday? No, day before yesterday. Yeah, 2 days ago. I went to the IMAX and saw Inception on 1570 or 70mm IMAX film, and it's amazing. My film that I love the most is Interstellar, and Interstellar on IMAX film. 1570, you have to call it. So you can't just say 70mm, because there is an original 70mm, which is wide, but it's not as tall. IMAX, so 70 millimeters like that, whereas IMAX 70mm is it's like that still, but then it's like this high as well. It's like a huge tall square. That's every frame. And seeing films projected in this way, it's just on film. It's just so organic and natural that it basically, as an audience member, like as a viewer who's watching it, is watching a movie in that theater. Obviously, it depends on the story that you're seeing, and there's all these things that can come into the equation. But when you've got everything that comes into the equation and it's all there, wow! I mean, does it just? It's just, this is cinema. This is cinema. This is true cinema. And don't get me wrong, 35mm film is like the standard. That's the studio standard, and for any filmmaker to get a film made on 35mm, it's fucking lucky. When I say lucky, it's a privilege. It's a privilege. It's an honor. It's an honor. So, and then to get given the capability or the allowance or to get given the privilege of using IMAX film. If you're a filmmaker and you're allowed to use IMAX, which is being funded by the studio, that's an even bigger honor, because it is a different technology. It's far superior, and it's film. But they're like ordinary film cameras, but on steroids, but in a beautiful, majestic way, yeah. So when I say on steroids, don't automatically think that I'm saying that they were made to be over the top. No, IMAX cameras came out decades ago, and they were used for shooting nature documentaries, and taking up to Mount Everest, and the International Space Station. They took one up there. All this sort of stuff. All this stuff that which in the nature of IMAX making the cameras, they made the cameras to film very profound things, like very visual, but gigantic sort of landscapes. You know what I mean? Like where it needed and required like a far superior camera. But that's what they did, and then decades later, they they carried on as a company, and then now they're all over the world, like in the cinemas, in the theaters. There weren't IMAX theaters before. There was just these, because that's been made like that because of certain filmmakers. One being Sir Christopher Nolan, who just took IMAX to another level, and then now he changed cinema. He changed the industry. He changed it, right? But before that, IMAX cameras weren't being used in films, like narrative films, like stories, like films that you go and see at the theater. They were used by mainly people that were making documentaries, if I'm right in saying. And but then the question is, you're probably asking, well, where would you see this footage? They didn't have IMAX theaters, but what they used to have these things called IMAX domes. They were like special exhibition buildings, like where you'd see these films being played. They weren't actual. It wasn't an IMAX theater where you drive up to a shopping mall, like a shopping mall or a retail park, like a shopping mall center, where you've got a fancy IMAX cinema, like theater there, where you could go and buy a ticket and buy popcorn. It weren't like that. It was like I don't even know where they used to put these buildings. I mean, I think they were called Omnimax, so IMAX, but Omni, OMNIMAX. Yeah, Omnimax, yeah, IMAX, yeah. And where these buildings were situated, or where they were, I can't say because it's way before my time, but I know about it theoretically. I've heard people talking about it, mainly Nolan himself speaking about this. There weren't no IMAX theaters. Oh yeah, that's where you'd see it. So they either had their own Omnimax dome, like sphere-shaped buildings, like these little bubble buildings, with in some special location, which I can't think of where these locations were. I'm sorry. Like maybe at Universal Studios in California, like, or like where Warner Brothers is, and do you know what I mean? Like when you go, you pay for a tour, you buy a ticket to go on a tour around Warner Brothers or whatever. Well, somewhere along there, at these types of locations, there'd be an Omnimax building, which had a huge IMAX screen inside, where you'd see like a nature documentary or a documentary about like the sea, what's the fish, and and sharks, and like, and see documentaries about the sea world, under the ocean, or you'd see a documentary of them going to Mount Everest. So I can't say the fucking word. I'm sorry. Uh, or the International Space Station or whatever. There, so that it was there you'd see the IMAX footage, or where's the other place? In a museum. Some buildings around the world, they've got IMAX screens inside them, like the Science Museum in London. There's an IMAX screen in there. So it's part of an institution. It's part of the Science Museum. There's a Science Museum in Glasgow, in Scotland as well, in the UK as well. And they've got an IMAX screen there. I think the Science Museum in London is more older than the one in Scotland, but I could be wrong about that. But so basically, there weren't no independent IMAX buildings. They were they were they were installed. The installation of an IMAX screen was part of another company. That they would have it as a bonus. what's that bonus? But it was a partnership. They had a partnership with other places. I'm talking about decades ago, like back in the 70s or the 80s or whatever, where IMAX screens were how they started off. Now, as I said, that you go to AMC theaters in America, or I don't know, an Odeon cinema wherever you live, or just a full blown like IMAX cinema like theater. They exist now in this way because of how certain filmmakers pushed the technology. They pushed it out to the world by making films with them, like films, like not documentaries or nature documentaries or things like that. They made actual films with them, like narratives, like fictional stories, and or fact or non-fiction, whatever. They made films with them, and as I said, it's the only one I can think of who took this to the forefront. Who took it to the forefront, who pushed it, was Christopher Nolan. I think there was rumors I heard James Cameron in the 90s talking about how he wanted to use IMAX cameras and for making films with and this and that. I don't know if he actually ended up doing that. I don't know if he actually was the first one to do it or not, because the first person who I'm aware of who actually did it, who took an IMAX film camera, which was never used before, in an actual Hollywood film, right? It's Christopher Nolan, and he did that on The Dark Knight. Not Batman Begins. It was The Dark Knight, the second Batman film he did, where they use IMAX cameras. Because there was a lot of unknowns about it. There was a lot of fears. That there was a lot of like fears about using an IMAX camera in a Hollywood film, because that's not studio standard. They never used them. They never like I said, it was a very powerful. It's a very powerful, expensive form of photography, right? IMAX and projection as well. Not only to film it on the actual fucking IMAX cameras with the film, it's expensive stuff. Where are you going to play it? You got to play it on a specially designed, custom designed IMAX screen. It's got to be played on there. They go hand in hand. They have to. That's how you see it properly. See it, you know, on an IMAX screen. With the IMAX sound as well. There's all this stuff that I've not included, but it's a different technology. It's this different than ordinary theaters. But then I'm not taking nothing away from ordinary theaters because they're still amazing. It's still cinema. It's filmmaking. IMAX is just like a superior form of it, and it really is. So I just thought I'd give some brief background there about IMAX. They weren't used for films. They weren't used for Hollywood films. They weren't. They were like, if you get a photo of this OmniMax building, let me see if I can get a photo, just to refresh my memory, and I'll show you what it was like. So unless you went to a science museum or some sort of museum where they had an IMAX screen there, the only way that you could see it is at a building called an OmniMax Theatre. They look like domes. They look like spheres. Science museum, yeah. Highly immersive 360-degree cinema experiences using specialized fisheye lenses to project onto a massive tilted dome screen. Where is the photo though? So yeah, like I think this is a good photo. But back in the 70s or the 80s and that, the only way that you could see IMAX footage is by going to one of these types of places. OmniMax. So it's Omni IMAX, Omni IMAX, OmniMax, and they look like this. They look like that, yeah.
to see, like very powerfully visual pieces of film, like as I say, like that. Seeing like sea life, dolphins and fishes and all that sort of stuff. This is how IMAX was being used. It was never used for Hollywood films. Yeah, like that as well. There's another Omnimax building. I don't know where that is. Let me click on this photo. This is where you'd see IMAX footage. Basically, there was no IMAX theaters like how we have it now. Um, yeah, science museums. Yeah, so you'd go and see like there's the audience and that's the screen, and there's a guy on stage, and they'd show you like going through the solar system, and Saturn, the planets are there. Do you see what I mean? It was used in this way. It wasn't used for making Hollywood films out of, right? But obviously now, if I type in IMAX theater, now they're everywhere. Like now, this is how you see it now. This is how you see them now. To go and see Hollywood films. Um, IMAX. This is the one where I go to in London. It's a big glass building. Um, it's beautiful. It really is. That's inside that room. This photo is inside that building that I just showed you. Don't underestimate the size of this photo. The screen is huge. It's massive. It's huge. Yeah, IMAX is now part of studio. It's part of the Hollywood mechanism now. It's part of Hollywood. Part of how films are being made. You know, Basically, me saying all that, it was because I was speaking about why photography or using film cameras as opposed to digital, in my opinion, is far superior, and it requires more mindfulness about the story you're making, the way you're shooting it, the way in which you use the camera in relationship to the subject. That is an art. I want to say an art, but it's a skill that you learn through using film cameras with physical film in it, where you're making something that matters. Because where film was expensive or cost money, even back in decades ago, you still had to pay for it. You were more mindful about what you were making, so you take more care about what you were filming. That even then stems down to the way you did your time management with the actors on the set, the way that you would direct the actors. You were more precise, you were more clear. There wasn't no pissing around. You couldn't afford to make mistakes, even though you might have made a few mistakes, but you were more. There was more care put into it because time is money, and the film in the cameras, like the celluloid, like the film, costs money. Do you know what I mean? So filmmakers who use, basically what I'm saying is that filmmakers who use film cameras, not digital, they've got more care. They've got more care. So what you're going to see is going to end up being a much more meaningful piece of art. Digital cameras, you can make mistakes a million times over. You can just hit record and then delete, record, delete, record, delete. You can't do that with physical film. You have to put new film in the camera. So basically, I'm not saying that digital filmmakers are sloppy or don't have care as much as people that would use physical film cameras. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they don't care or there's not enough care there if they were using a physical film camera uh, as opposed to digital. I'm just saying that in the nature of using a physical film camera, you're going to be more mindful about what you're doing. Whereas with a digital camera, you could be unconsciously making the same mistakes over and over and over again, and making something which is not really that great of good quality. It's not really good. There's no meaningfulness there. There's no, because the camera is doing all the work for you. You're not challenging. You're not being challenged by other things. You're not. It's being all done for you. So you're not really. It takes all the burden off of your shoulders, and that's not a good thing. You need to feel when I say the pressure, you need to feel the pressure of when you're doing something which has got meaning. Anything that's good has to go through a bumpy ride, right? Anything of any value that you see has to go through something, or where someone has gone through a journey where they've gone through a bumpy ride, where they've been challenged, they've been tested, because otherwise it's not going to change that person. You're not going to get the result, that polished result at the end, if at the beginning you're just sitting there fucking laid back, like not really bothered if you make anything good today because it's digital. All you got to do is just press the button, and if it looks okay, what do you think? Look, it looks okay. It's not bad. Yeah, it's not really what I wanted, but I'll just sit back and just say, yeah, fine, whatever. That's that sort of attitude that people can have using digital film cameras. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying everyone does who does it, but you can fall into the trap of that being, right? But with physical film, right, it's a different conversation. It's a different way. It's different. You know what I mean? So, because you can't make mistake, you have to be. If you make a mistake, fine, but you know that you've got one shot with the film. Once it's fed through the camera, and it gets wound up on the spool. So there's two spools, one empty one and one brand new one full of brand new film. As that passes through the camera, it winds up. As that one's spinning round, this one's spinning round as well, collecting the film that you've just shot, that you've just recorded. So because in the nature of physical film, you have to be more mindful, and you have to be more careful. You have to be more aware of what you're doing, so then that will show itself in the final product, or in what you've shot. Obviously, then you'll take all the films away, a big truckload, a big lorry of films, or a big van, and you get it all edited together. You splice it, and the editing process is then a big process, but it's what you're capturing. It affects you as the filmmaker, how you're capturing things when you're using something where you have to be really mindful about it. Digital cameras, you could be like a zombie, and you won't even know, because the camera's doing all the work for you, and you just settle for less because the camera's digital, and you don't care how many times you make a mistake. You just delete what you've shot, and you just click record again. Do you understand the way in which the relationship to the director, or the cameraman, or both of them, and the camera and the subject that you're filming? So I won't say director, I'll just say cinematographer, like the cameraman. The relationship between the cinematographer and the camera, and what you're shooting, what you're filming, it's a different relationship with physical film as opposed to digital. A cinematographer using a film camera, and then a cinematographer using a digital camera. I'm not saying that this applies to everyone, but I'm just saying that where people have got so dependent upon digital technology, where it does everything for you, it sort of takes the magic out of what you originally might have wanted to do. You just sort of, it makes you conditioned to being, I don't want to say lazy, but like it conditions you in a certain way, where so by definition it changes the whole relationship of the filmmaking process. Do you understand? if you let it, that is. If you don't let that happen, then you're going to make beautiful things, great things on a digital camera, and that's great. You know, I was just saying the story that with physical film, you can't afford to be lazy. You can't afford to be amateur. Like, you can't, unless you're prepared to buy more film. If you don't mind running through truckloads of film and wasting it on bullshit, if you've got the money and you're prepared to buy more physical film to put in your camera, then go for it. Go ahead. If you've got the bank balance, if you've got deep pockets to keep doing that, then fine. Because that's the thing. With a digital camera, you don't need deep pockets. If you fill up that memory card, you don't need to. You don't chuck that away, or you can't dispose of it. Like, well, you can, but basically, you can just delete the footage off the card and reset it back to zero, and continue filming. What I'm trying to say is that because we can do that with these digital cameras, it can condition filmmakers to become, what's that word that I'm looking for? It can. It changes the filmmaker. I'll just say that, you know, I'm not going to like start saying certain words or whatever, because I don't want it to sound like I'm judging people. I'm not. I'm just speaking from my own awareness on what I've heard other filmmakers say, and me as a filmmaker in the making, and me as someone who's used digital products before. Like, we've all used digital things. Who here watching this has used an iPhone or phone now that you're probably watching me on right now? You've shot footage off of your thing, off your phone, right? And then when you didn't like it, you just deleted it. You can't do that with physical film. You've got one shot. You've got one shot. And in the very nature of that, where you've only got one shot of using that film that you've just fed into the camera, you know, safely, and, you know, you've got to step up as a filmmaker. You've then got to be more mindful about what you're doing when you're having the actors on set. The rehearsal's been done. Everyone knows what they're doing. The lighting's done. You know, everyone else is ready. The sound operators, the sound technicians, the actors are comfortable. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's waiting on you. Like, everyone's waiting on the go button being pressed. Like, you know, go. You know, everyone's waiting for the green light. Yeah. So, and knowing that you've only got one shot every time you film, like with film cameras, like, obviously, like, you've got enough footage in there to film so much, like, per minute, but it's not like if you've got a digital camera on a film set where you've got a 5 terabyte hard drive in it, where if you make a mistake on it, or you're not being mindful enough to create the performance that you want, you know, with everything else, you know, if they make a mistake, or if it doesn't look right, you just say, yeah, keep rolling, keep rolling. Who cares? You know, we've got 5 terabytes on each camera, and we've got 5 cameras on set. We've got 25 terabytes of fucking storage to use. Basically, do you understand? It loses its quality. That's what I'm trying to say. Whereas when you got a physical film camera, I'll show you something now. Not my ass. That's not what I wanted to show you. I've got some physical film right here. What was that? I've got some physical film right here. This is an actual film trailer. It's about 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes of film. These are film trailers that I got. I mean, to be used on a projector to watch it. Right, I bought these for nothing really. I got them for like $1. well, I live in the UK, so I got them for £1. I got 6 of them, like different film trailers from different iconic films that I like. You know, well, when I say I like them, I just bought them because they were £1. This is from Eraser. You know the Arnold Schwarzenegger film where he stops that guy who worked for the government to sell those futuristic weapons to Russia or whatever. Eraser, you know, where they've got them futuristic fucking laser guns or energy weapon guns. You know that film, right? This is the theatrical trailer, or sorry, the theatrical. This is from 1996, right? This is a teaser trailer from 1996 for Eraser, and I don't think they've even been used. They're like brand new. They've still got they're brand new. They've still got the tape around them, right? Let me wait a second. Let me show you. So let me get another one to show you because I don't want to open that one. Let me get one that's already open. I just bought them because they were there. The guy had a whole table full of them. Judge Dredd, Sylvester Stallone. It's a teaser trailer from 1995. Godzilla, 1998. Like, because I want to get a projector, a 35. This is 35mm film, right? And physical film, and I want to get a projector and see and project inside my own house, right? So it's like I'm in the movies. It's like I'm at the theater. I'll get my own project. I even know what projector I want to get. I know what I want to get, but I just haven't got the time to do it yet, right? But because then I'll splice all these together and just make one massive film. So I'll splice them together. I'll join them, and then it will be like, then it will end up like this big or whatever. Because at the moment they're like that, you know, they're like that big. But once I've spliced it all together, I'll have about, it look like that, and then I'll put that on the spool, feed it into the projector, and it will just be like nice to sit down with a coffee in the evening, and you know, I'll have a screen, I'll have I'll have the projector at the right distance from the screen, and you know, I'll have it all nice and that, and a nice leather like couch, you know, like a lazy boy, a sofa or whatever, and then I can just play things, seeing it projected how it was when you're in the theater. It's different seeing something on film with your eyes and seeing something digital. Digital makes it look too clear. It makes it look. Oh no, it's not about how it makes it look so polished. Because IMAX footage is polished, it's so clear, but it looks organic, it looks natural. What I'm saying is that for a film, for someone who likes film, filmmakers, or just people that are film enthusiasts, you'd like to see it. What, me getting a projector? I'll show you one day. I'll show everyone what my setup will be. My setup, you know. I'm most likely I'll get one when I move out, when I'm not living here, when I've got my own place. When I've got my own place, yeah. But to see a copy of, whether it's just a trailer or series of trailers or an actual whole film, to get a copy of a beloved film that I like, you know, or to even rent one, to rent it and then to play it. But most likely I'd have to just buy my own copies, you know, from film collectors who have got them in their store, in their collection. You know, to watch something how it's originally supposed to be seen. Like, there's a magic in it that I don't really know how to explain. You'd have to just sit here with me and understand, or unless you've gone to a theatre already and seen something played on film. Like, there's a place in London near Leicester Square called the Prince Charles Cinema. They play all iconic classics on the original format. They use film. They do play things in digital as well, and 4K and that, but they know they play things on film. So let's just say you go on their website now, the Prince Charles Cinema. You look up their schedule, and it says next week they're playing Aliens, James Cameron's Aliens film, the second Alien film, on film on 35mm, yeah, or they're playing, I don't know, Rocky on film. Like they tell you what they're playing it in, so they'll say 35mm. So when you go there, you're seeing it on a copy of, you're seeing it how it's originally supposed to be seen, and it just looks different. It just looks different than seeing something played on a television, played on like digital transfer. It just looks, it's different. I'm just saying it's just different. It's just different, and this is there's a magic in seeing it originally projected. So how do you think I'm going to feel when I play this one day on my projector? Godzilla, the 1998 Godzilla, which I quite liked. I know people think it's a bit cheesy or whatever, but I thought it was quite cool. But for £1, it's £1. So I just took it, What else did I get? Jurassic Park 3. I'm not really a fan of that movie. I liked it when I was a kid, but I'm just saying that if it was Jurassic Park 1 or the second Jurassic Park, The Lost World, I would have took both of them. Like, they're just trailers. This is not the whole film. These are the trailers that you'd see before seeing another film back in the day. So this was 2001. Jurassic Park 3 came out in 2001, right? Mouse Hunt. You know that film with Lee Evans? You know the film Mouse Hunt, where they've got to open up the factory, the cheese factory, and the little mouse is on the scene, and he's causing nothing but chaos. Mouse Hunt. That's the trailer for that, 1997. It's got the date written on there as well. It's £1, so I took it. I bought 6 of them, so I spent £6. If I don't want them, I'll just give them away. I've got an original trailer here of Turner and Hooch. No, Tom Hanks where he gets the dog, where he's a cop, he's a policeman. 1989. This is an original. This has not even been used. This is brand new from 1989. A trailer of Turner and Hooch. So, yeah, I have another channel, yeah, but that's another channel that I use. This is my filmmaking channel, but if I open up this thing again, just to quickly show you all what I'm talking about. This is 35mm film. This is 35mm. This is how films are meant to be seen. I'm telling you right now, this is the way. This is obviously just a trailer of Jurassic Park 3. Probably can't see any. You won't see nothing there, but hold on. I'll just wind it up again. Here we go. Look at that. I'm holding it in front of my light, my little lamp, my little flashlight there. But see that? Does that look familiar? So seeing don't worry, I'm being gentle with it. It's okay. Seeing a film being projected on film. Seeing a film being projected on film is not just the original way in which it should be seen, but it's how it was originally recorded. So basically, this is what was being fed through the cameras. Well, not this exact piece that I'm holding here, But this film, like the original film that was shot, that was taken to these countries where they took all the actors and actresses, where they took all the crew, they had cameras on set with this being used, with physical film. They didn't use digital. They used this stuff, and then they then obviously took that back and edited the footage into the film that we've got, and then edited. I can't even say the word. So they cropped it. I'll just say cropped. They cropped it down into these trailers. So basically, these frames that I see, you know, that each frame here, you can probably see it. You see, like each one that you see there, 1, 2, 3. Each frame, and there's thousands of them that make up the movie. It's moving film. When it's being fed through the projector, that's where the word movie comes from. The word movie is more of an American term. I don't really like using it. I love American people, and there's some American people probably watching me now. But I prefer to use the word film. Movie is it's film that's moving. So that's why they say movie. Well, fair enough, whatever. But I prefer to say the word film. And basically what I'm holding here is basically like a copy of what was actually used. Like it's the same. It's the same, apart from the actual original films that are in that the studio have got in their archives. This is a copy. It's an exact copy of what was running through the original cameras on the set, on the film sets. So when you see a film shot on film, so when you see a film being fed through a projector and you're sitting down and you're watching it and you're seeing it, you're basically seeing it exactly. You're seeing it exactly how the cameraman saw it, the director sees it. You're seeing it exactly how it's meant to be seen. You're literally stepping into the shoes of the person who looked through the viewfinder and saw it. You're literally seeing it in the exact same way. Honestly, and that's cool because it brings you into the experience. It brings you into you're seeing it from their viewpoint. You're seeing it seeing something on digital that's been converted or being upscaled, or what do they call it, restored, or yeah, sometimes it works for some films where it's needed. But if you can still see a film on film like this, go and see it, and you're going to experience it in a completely different way. You're going to see it in a completely different way. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now, and nothing can beat it. Nothing can replace that. I don't care what no one says. Digital is what it is. You know, I'm not against it, but I wouldn't use it to replace filmmaking. You can use it on a set as well to shoot other things, maybe, or as a backup. But I wouldn't use it as a complete replacement, because that's what a lot of filmmakers do now. They now use digital cameras, and because it's cheaper. It's not as cost effective as this. To buy loads of this, do you know what I mean? It's more convenient for studios. It's more. They might see it as being easier to use. You know, time efficient. You know, you haven't got to get a guy to undo the camera, take this out, put the new one in, and then shut the door on the camera. And and you know what I mean. It's like, and digital is just a hard drive. It's just a fucking hard drive. You know, it's just like it's just solid. It's solid state. It's just a hard drive. So anyway, I'm not against digital for all the reasons what I said earlier. Why I don't believe in digital. Or I don't think it's I don't want to make films like that. After seeing true cinema films that I've seen, and any other film that I've seen on film, I even saw The Mummy and The Mummy Returns at the Prince Charles Cinema as a special showing. I saw that, and it's amazing. You're seeing it how it was originally meant to be seen, like as if you was there opening night, which I couldn't do opening night back in 1999 because I was 6 years old or 5 years old. You know, I couldn't go. I saw the Matrix trilogy at the Prince Charles Cinema on film. I think it was on film. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was. It was on film. Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is that it's different. It's just different. It's just different. And like I was saying earlier on, it's all about the relationship. Using digital as opposed to film like this. If you go back earlier on into this live stream, you'll get all the answers to your questions. But I basically said it there that what's different about digital and film, they're two different things. But using it for filmmaking, it using film as opposed to digital, it changes the relationship of the filmmakers, of how it changes it changes the way the filmmakers go ahead to make what they're making. The whole relationship is different. It's a different thing. It's completely different because you're no longer like now being more mindful about the film that you're putting into the camera, where you're giving it you're giving it more effort. You're more mindful. You're more aware because once it's been used, it's been used. You got to get more film, or keep what you've got. You know, with digital, you could make a million mistakes over and over and over again. And if you're not happy with what you've seen on the footage, you just press the one button. Boop. You just press delete. It changes the approach. It changes the relationship with how filmmakers. You understand? Basically, people. I found what I'm trying to say is that, and this isn't for everyone. I'm not saying this is for everyone. There are some exceptions, but for people that use film in film cameras still, that are still managing to use film. Hello, Andrew. The relationship is different. There's more like basically what I'm saying is that where they've got to be more mindful about these cameras with this type of medium, this type of format, you're more aware, and that will reflect in what you're making. It will reflect because you're being more, I don't want to say careful, you're just being more aware, you're being more mindful. So there's more, it's basically, it's what you're going to get at the end of it is different as opposed to just using a digital camera. It's different. It's just different. Do you understand what I'm saying here, people? I'm not trying to be like some dick here. I'm just saying it because it's true. It is. There are some people out there that use digital cameras and they're very mindful about what they're doing, and I appreciate that. You know, they're not, but it's just different when you're using film, when you're using physical film. Like it's just a different. It's just different. It's what I keep saying. It's just different, man. It's just a different thing. What's different? What's different for the viewer? It's just the way the whole feel of it. As you're seeing it, like as you're seeing the images like hit your eye, like the whole feel of it is just different. You're seeing a film, you think you've seen the film that you're seeing already, but you've not truly seen it. You've not, and that especially applies to people like Christopher Nolan. When you go and see his films at the IMAX, if you think you've seen his films until you've seen them in an IMAX theater on film, you've not truly seen it. I'm telling you from my own experience, you've not truly seen it. I just went the other day to see Inception at the IMAX because it's a special. They're giving these special screenings of his films leading up to July with his new film, The Odyssey, which looks fucking awesome, by the way. It looks amazing, and they showed you a little preview of the film before they showed Inception. They showed about 4 or 5 minutes of The Odyssey as a special preview for people that have paid to see a show, the Inception again, you know, or any of his films that, you know. It's just a preview. Obviously it's to promote his new film, but he don't need to sell himself. People want to see his films. Um, if you know what I mean, the Odyssey, they did the pre-sale tickets a year ago, and people bought them. Back in July last year, they sold out for a film that comes out this July. What does that tell you? So, yeah. So anyway, I'm rambling. I'm just saying that I went and saw a couple of his films at the IMAX. Interstellar being the main one that I cherish the most, and then Inception. But Interstellar is just, you got to go and see it at the IMAX, and you got to see it. I'm speechless. There's no words that can explain it really. I just call it the ultimate experience. The ultimate experience. And he uses IMAX film cameras, so like you see his films projected on IMAX film. This isn't IMAX film. This is just standard. This is good film. This is 35mm, but I have actually got some IMAX frames in my room from Interstellar, actually. I've got some original frames, not from, but from a copy of Interstellar that was played 10 years ago, and it's been decommissioned for whatever reason, and then it's been handed down to a private collector, and then he's chopped it all up into individual frames and sold them on, and I bought a few off of him from Interstellar, so I've got some in my room. I've literally got the film, not just in my heart, but I've got some of it in my fucking room, in my bedroom, right? I'll show you next time. But I think this live stream, I'm going to be going now. I need to go get. But this whole live stream was just about talking about the difference between physical film and digital. There is a difference. You're more aware, I think. You're more. I want to say aware, but you're more. There's more. You're more mindful about what you're doing. I think when you're using something which can't be just deleted and recorded again, that is it. You've got one shot of this in your camera. Once it's gone through and you've used it, or you've used it, you've got one shot every time you put new film in. That is it. So did you see what I mean? The whole relationship with what you're filming is there's you're more present with what you're doing. You have to be in the very nature of it, because otherwise you're going to be spending fucking shitloads of money, so it just trains filmmakers to be different. Do you understand? The relationship with filmmakers is different with filmmakers that use film as opposed to filmmakers that use digital. Not against them, not against them at all. I'm just saying that it's different. Anyway, everyone, I'm going to be going now. Thanks for listening to this channel. If you like what you've heard and you want to hear more about the filmmaking process going forward, then you know where to find me. Hit the like button and subscribe and all that stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye.